Okay, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
We have very short time because Paolo is very strict and yesterday was very clear. At 10, we need to vacate this room. So it's not that we have that much time because unfortunately, we worked a lot yesterday, I think, and so maybe something that was scheduled for as a last session we can even skip, because at the very first day Victor raised an issue and I said, wait, we can discuss tomorrow. And then I said, wait, we can discuss it tomorrow. And then I say, hey, but there is no more time to discuss. So, Victor, I would like to start this last session and inviting also the others, if you have some burning issue that want to discuss, to bring to the colleagues, not to discuss with me, but to bring as a topic.
I'm very sorry.
Very good.
Yeah, I the streets is not already.
Okay.
I forgot.
So,
Okay.
again, the story of
yeah.
Mama was that you raised.
What I'm worried of in my ministry as a priest, if already I'm transcending already my works beyond I'm overdoing, because one of the issues, one of the concerns those who come to me is about legal issues, most especially when about their salaries, about their contract, on all these things, and then like what had happened when the parents of this guy came to me for help, because he languished there in the jail of Pax Hill prison in Nassau. So, with all my desire to help, really, I must have to be resourceful and establish connections. So, what I did first, I have to contact London if they can give me the number of the chaplain there in Nassau, in Bahamas. But unfortunately, they do not have the Stella, they don't have the ITF, they do not know in the ministry that we have. So, and I said, well, can you give me the number? I have to call the what is affair, the foreign affair. And he said, it's okay, Father. So I have to list this down, that this is the problem there, that guy. And I keep on following. They never have done anything. So I was frustrated. So I said, I came to think of, asking the number of the bishop there in Nassau. There, when I contacted the bishop, he told me that, there is a signed chaplain there in that particular prison. I have to give him to you. So we're able to talk. And then he told me, do you have any connections, Filipino people in Bahamas? And I said, I'm very sorry. At least priest, I'm very sorry. I do not know any, but I hope there is, because Filipino priests are all over the world. And then secondly, as to lay people, so I do believe there are some Filipinos there, but only thing I do not know. And that guy, that chaplains told me, I can give you one. So he introduced me to the Filipino priest. So I give a call again, and he told me that, Father, I'm very sorry, I cannot be of help to you because my documents are not sufficient enough to support us to, I am just new in the place, But I can refer you to the leader of Filipino people, and then there, she's a doctor. So I contacted her and I begged her favor, Doc, this is, but anyway, I feel a peace already because the chaplain told me that I have to look for this guy inside the jail. So at least when he told me, when I contacted him, yes, Father, I have already talked with that guy whom you are referring to, and then at least I'm visiting him, but he is belongs to the hardened criminals, and he is being, I don't know what kind or how it looks like, but I've heard it that, the strict, not very strict because the issue is rape. And then I said, so I was referred to the leader, Filipino. So I talked with her. Her name is Lilith Capolon, Doctora. And I said, Doc, I need your help. I am Father Victor Pompat, but what is this all about, Father? I'm very busy here in the operating room, admitting room. What do you call this? What room was that? But Father, can you give me another call? Few hours after. So I did make a follow-up, and I beg her favor, please, Doc. We have a lot. You are accordingly the leader of the Filipino people there, and you can do a lot of things as regards to this is our Filipino brother. What is this all about, Father? So I told her she's being accused of rape and all these things, and then she's in the hardened criminals. Can you say? Yeah, I will try, Father, I will try to visit him. And I said, I'm serious, Doc, I will surely make a follow-up tomorrow if you have been there. No? Meanwhile, I'm praying that she might have pity on that guy so that she will be motivated to do something. Praise God, thanks be to God. When I contacted her, she said, Father, I have been to the prison already. I pity him very much. He's like my son, And look, think of anything that you can do for that. So he said, I will organize the Filipino people. So you have to assign them one by one to so that he will be reinforced with his moral, that he will not be depressed and desperate. So we'll assign one by one every day to visit and to look for his needs. Okay, thank you very much. And meanwhile, after that, she told me that, we need a lawyer for him, Father. And I said, I do not have money, and then how can I provide you a lawyer? I came to think of the Attorney Stevenson, the speaker in Africa, Attorney Stevenson. So I still have my number, huh?
Mr. Douglas.
Oh yeah. So I contacted him, the last of Stevenson. I contacted him and he told me, I'm very sorry, Father, my license is just in New York. I cannot really, but I can give you, a certain organization, lawyers that can help him. So I give him the number, and then I give her to the doctor. Can you please contact this number? Accordingly, they can help. So they contacted, and then with that concerted effort from the Filipino people there, finally he was being acquitted of his case. And then meanwhile, when he was in probationary period, he could not go out because according to him, there's what they call this, a device that placed on his foot that he cannot go out from the country. Bracelet that he cannot, he cannot go out. But anyway, what is important is that you are out of prison already. And then the doctora has a restaurant, so she employed him. And meanwhile, as he was waiting for his, and he was sending money already to his family because he earned while he was under litigation. And then, after that, he was finally being liberated and repatriated back to the Philippines. And he was on board again of another company because when I contacted the company as if nonchalant, you did not, as if I do not feel the desire to help, and even to the Department of Foreign Affairs. When I contacted, how was the case that I have a petition to you, referred to you. Okay, Father, we have all the file here in the folder and all these things. And I said, that's all you have done? When I have to tell you that he is already out of prison. Are you really, Father? Yeah, help him. I said, what? And then I even have told him, anyway, I was not, anyway, the thing is that even to that, I was referred to the Washington Embassy because Bahamas is under Washington, and then the same thing, you know, they're very, very slow. And then when I called up the money agency, we have to wait for the foreign affairs to do it because that is their job and all these things. But, you know, he's being out, you know, practically because of the help of the Filipino people there in Bahamas. And that is the thing that I was very, very happy because we have seen each other guy, and they invited me even to come over to Bahamas. So I talked personally to the bishop, and I thanked him, and then all the Filipino people there. And they told me, regards to this guy, he is known really in the community because wherever the priest is, he has to bring him and introduce to the people. So the time that they met me, oh, how is Jason? You know, I said, yeah, he is there. And I told him, please learn, you know, out of what you've experienced because, you know, you really have, if you learn, it's in the most difficult way because you languished in the jail for quite a long time. How many months was that? And the body had a visit on him. And that is the thing that I am so very, very thankful. So as to cases, even somebody who was being heart attack in South Africa, my normal thing that I have to do is to call London and I ask referral. And then good if there is a Stella Maris, like in Richard Bay, which I referred the one who had a heart attack on board, that, you know, what you can see is the chaplain said, Father, please do not be worried. You know, we two chaplains are taking good care of him. I have to give you an update. So at least it gives consolation to the family because they are waiting for any information. And the next time said, Father, here we go. You cannot talk to the bishop because he's now in the operating room. And then he updated me of everything as if I've been there in the place. And I have to relay also to the family. And finally, the one who was being operated in South Africa had been repatriated also, of course, with a companion up to Manila, and the family met him there. And then another thing, a lot of cases about, you know, the cadaver.
Why you are raising this?
Yeah. So I think
why you wanted to bring this example to the colleagues?
Yeah, because priest as I am, I might be overdoing what I am doing because, you know, it's already a legal concern and most of the people come to me, you know, it's about legal issues for help. So that's why my question is, am I not overdoing my work representing?
So this is the question. Are you, your doubt, because I remember on Monday you said, is this what am I supposed to do? I'm doing more, etc. This is the issue, you know? So, I invite the other to answer this question. I mean, is he over acting in following up these cases abroad and so extensively, or he is right?
You well done. This is the value of you. This is love. When we handle one case, we need to do until the end of the case, until he safe trip back home. It means you return son to mother, husband to the wife, the children to his father. This is good. Well done. It's not overacting.
But the bishop didn't even know what I am doing.
So, but bishop don't know, but God know what you are doing.
This is, is anyone else?
Yeah. He's doing right if he is happy. If he is not happy, maybe he's not doing the right thing for himself.
Yeah, of course.
Because we experience the same, no? We have that. Sometimes US UK will have an email in this place and who is this place. So we just call, and then we're happy what we're doing because we help somebody, and that is the purpose why we are here and why we are on this ministry. Because we are all over the world. We are not just localized. We are not, but the main thing is we love to serve, and that service is
Yes.
includes everything.
I think this is very good, very nice because of the seafarers had nobody to turn to. They think of Stella Maris Port Chaplain. This is the best.
Yeah, I am also in. Oh, sorry.
Now it's the other guy.
Yeah.
A couple of days we've been talking about Eisenhower matrix. And when I reported, I mentioned that if there is an opportunity to be of help, that is always urgent and important. So what Father Pumpat had done in helping those who are in need is urgent and important. And that is because he responded to the call to love and serve.
I think if, as long as we're not doing things or responding against the law, what you're doing is wrong. Because I experienced that when I was new as a lay missionary in Tokyo. Just a few months after I received a case, the person is already detained due to overstaying, no visa. And then when I visited him in the detention center, he requested to visit his place to sell his things inside so that he will have money if ever he will decide to go home. So I asked another staff, I reported in the office during our staff meeting, and then another staff said, okay, we will visit. So she's also a Filipina. She prepared, she asked someone to drive us to the place. So we went there. In fact, we intruded the place, the house, without asking the owner because it was locked. So the owner knew. He came and then he talked to us, and I said, we were asked. So he said, okay, I want to talk to that person. So I gave him my cell phone and he held it. He did not return it to me. And he said, I want to have my money because this house had been closed and the rent were not paid. So we went back to the office, and of course we reported what happened. And the office said, you did the wrong way. You're supposed to do like this, like this, like this. And I said, but I told this one, and this person told me this. She did the wrong decision. That is not the right way in doing things here. You should blah, 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 blah. And what you've done could make our office be closed. So as long as we are not doing unlawful things in responding to the case, I think it's okay. So we have to be very, very careful. That's what would be. Yeah, because what you're doing is you make the response very fast. If you just depended on the government, you said, no, they're still fighting things, but you told them the guy is already out of the jail. That's my personal.
Thank you. No?
We know that Father Victor loves travel, but at the same time helping, traveling and helping at the same time, right, Father Victor? But of course, we have to, I think, find all the resources also, because for example, before the pandemic, we have a case also of a seafarer actually who died, who was hospitalized in Seychelles. And I think Seychelles is part of African country, no? So it's very far, I think. And I know that we have a chaplain there. I think I met him in Taiwan, but I was not able to really find him. I was not able to contact him, and he never responded my call to help the seafarer who ultimately died there in Seychelles. So I contacted also the archdiocese, the church, but they never responded also. But thank God, we're able to find this lay person who happens to belong the Couples for Christ network in Seychelles, and he's in charge. He's actually in charge with the Couples for Christ in Seychelles. So we're able to connect with him, and we're able to actually dared him to really help this person, this dead person. We give the contact person of the families to this man, to this lay person, and ultimately they're able to organize they're really able to help the person in Seychelles, the seafarer who died there, and the families. So my point is, I think we need to find, if it is not necessary to go to the place, because of course we have plenty also of jobs here in our place, but of course the establishment of our contacts, connections to even to lay people, not only to our fellow chaplains, but to lay persons. So in Northern Ireland, for example, there was a fisher who was pulled out by the chaplain in Northern Ireland because he got sick and he got cancer and he died there also. So it was also a Filipino volunteer, a nurse, who has been helping him, Mario Duren. So a Filipino. So we cannot underestimate also our Filipinos there, working there. They are willing also to help us. They are also willing to connect, our network.
May I? Father Bumpat is saying, am I not overdoing it since I entered into the legal part? I think for me, the legal aspect of our helping ministry is part and parcel of what we do. It's part and parcel. There are times we in Jansen experience one seafarer died on board, and the family is suing, filed a legal case against the boat owner because of negligence. So our assistance to the seafarer doesn't end on repatriation, but the assistance go on when there is still a legal case in order for them to claim what is intended for them, as long as there is probable cause. So, as we've said, legal assistance doesn't mean providing documents only, but
if it has to be walking with the family of seafarers to the port, then it has to be. So for me, that is part and parcel of what we are and what we should do.
Can I share? Okay.
Well, we're not going to make a list of the cases that we all do, but I think for us in the Philippines, that is part of the game. Personally, I feel like this. I have a seafarer in front of me, male or female, doesn't matter, or even the third option. So how do I help, personally, how do I help? As a chaplain of the Archdiocese of Manila. And I think this is a principle we apply to all of us. Now, I remember in 1993, I happened to attend a meeting in Hong Kong, and I could not really grasp the idea of we cannot, then I happened to be with the migrants, we cannot be the eternal ambulance drivers. That is to me the problem. We are the ambulance drivers. So if there are no victims, we are not really happy because I cannot drive the ambulance. Just example, like it took me a number of years to, I cannot be. And then to me the crucial is how much or how far does our network go? To me, that is the crucial point. So we have to be resourceful to locally with the government, because at the end of the day, that is not really our work. It's government's duty. Now, how much can we chaplains or directors implement or help the government, please take care of this guy? Now, the examples that we gave, that is the proof how resourceful we can be to help that human being. So I guess it is something like Stefano is trying to challenge us. Our network has to be like an octopus. Everywhere. Of course, there are boundaries, etc. But since we in the Philippines, having 400,000 Filipino seafarers anywhere in the world, probabilities are every day we have a case of different shapes and sizes. Now, if we add there the families and the fishers, that becomes much larger. So I guess perhaps for us in the Philippines, I'm not underestimating others, because we are in the Philippines, they come back here. And you guys, for those who are the foreign delegates, thank you for coordinating with us. Certainly the experience of Apini and Coco in Thailand is much different from ours. But the principle, I think, is the same. The network, be it government, very important that the Stella Maris network, most of the time, it doesn't work. Because we contact the chaplain anywhere in the world, nowhere to be found. But then you go to the brochure, you go to the FB, wow. Then can you help me? Mute. His microphone is on mute. And then you go couples for Christ. I'm not criticizing others, please, but I think it's a reality among us, Stella Maris chaplains. Then at least me, or you observe some other denominations, since they have to produce work to be able to get the salary, then they answer. In our case, no. We go back to what Stefan was saying the other day. So how much accountable do I feel? But I'm just saying this because I guess it's nice to be here and to reflect. But it is crucial that we enlarge our government network. In the Philippines, whether we like it or not, for the next 5 years, that is the government, full stop. That is the government that we will have if we stay here, no? Then we need a church. You said, Father, your bishop does not know. Perhaps we have to do same basic catechesis to the bishop. And I think it's still useless anyway. Bishop Stud was very clear yesterday, no?
Yeah.
And then we need that kind of network. So that we do not become the eternal ambulance drivers. We are ahead of these problems.
Well, time's up. I'm sorry. Just to, it's very interesting topic. I think I want to say two things. One is the posture. When we are caring of others, we can have two postures. The first one, I sit here, I say I'm available, you come to me. Or I stand up, I am available, I come to you. And this is the different posture that usually is separating the formal caring services from organizations like Stella Maris. Stella Maris exists because it goes towards those who are in need, and not just because it sits like an agent or a care social worker say, I'm here from 8 to 12 and from 2 to 6. There is the reason why the NGOs were born years ago. There is the reason why there is a civil society organization that are advocating giving voice to those that are voiceless, because this is what you are doing. In this concept, then there are what Father Paolo said, there are boundaries. Till when? Until how far you want to go, okay? And here there is the risk to go around. But Father Paolo was saying something interesting. We are not happy if we have no problem to solve. And this is an issue. Because basically what you are doing is made of steps. Okay? There is something that you can do by yourself, and there is something that you can part of it. Either you can start a process or be part of that process involved by others. The parents of this kid, the guy in the jail, etc., etc. So, but what sometimes I see is missing, not in you, but in general, is that the clear understanding of the boundaries. I can go till there, this one, and then if I want to reach this one, I need someone else. And usually, it should be, again, Father Paolo is very to the point. Usually, we work in rings. The first ring is should be Stella Maris colleagues, but it's true that is most of the time they are not there, and so you have to be creative and look for other solution. Okay. Being aware that whenever we get out of this, let's say, formal boundaries, we risk something. There is always the risk. So, first of all, be aware of the posture that sometimes you have to go towards and to overstep your tasks and normal duties. Second, to what we worked yesterday, to create and make use, and in case create new networks and new referrals. And third, that we don't have time to discuss, is that issue. Am I happy with what I do, or I need excitement in order to feel satisfied with my job? I think that Stella Maris should first and foremost fulfill the basic tasks as much as possible, as best as possible, and then, in case moving out of the comfort zone. Sometimes it is true that this the first day, the heart to serve blurred our vision. The desire to be useful let us forget what is our role, what is our purpose, what is our duty. I conclude here, and I think that is because we need to pass to the final steps. Many things are on the floor, on the wall. You can give a look and go through, and you will see that most of this last discussion that I think is very interesting. We keep it open. As John said, this is not the end. This is the beginning of something new. We will see in the next future. But many answers are new and not in rules and regulations. So, Sister Catherine, the general one. There is the last duty, the last form to be filled, and then we conclude with our last sharing about this experience.
With the insurers, and this is where data helps. This is where collecting the stories, the information, the record of your engagement makes the difference. So, this is Kathleen. Hopefully, we'll be setting that up, and I can show you firsthand. But this is where we need to prove ourselves. We need to prove our value to the manning agencies, to the ship owners, to the managers, to the insurers. We do that in two ways. One is by collecting the big data that record the ship visits, how many people have we met on their ships, and it's shock and awe. Frankly, we go to the insurance companies and we can say, in the UK, there you go, that's how many ship visits we're doing every month. We know your people. We know the problems they're facing because we're seeing them every day, and you in an office are not. So we can say very quickly to a company, this is how many times we visited. For insurance companies in particular, we can say, this is how many times we're visiting your vessels. We know the problems, and we can help you solve the problems. And that's what, but it means that you need to be thinking not just at a port level, but on a national and international level of the information I'm getting so I can present that. Talking about one person who is having a bad time, so what, it's an individual. But through collecting the data, we can show that it's not one individual, it's a company, and it's not in one port, as we had one ship, one company that said, the issue's only in Southampton because we're too busy, but in Hamburg, they get rest there, they can go off the vessel there, but we're too busy to let seafarers off the ship in Southampton. Well, guess what? We spoke to our chaplain in Hamburg, and do you know what the ship said in Hamburg? we're too busy in Hamburg, but it's okay because in Southampton they get the rest. Having both sides of it, we could go to the company, went to the International Chamber of Shipping, and we could create change. But with the insurance companies, they're concerned about the welfare as well, because we say to them, look how we've made the change, and we've made it better for your people. They're happier, they stay longer, and the same as with I imagine it's the same for the manning agency. But you need to think about how do you collect that stories, how do you show your value to the manning agency? What does the manning agency want? If they want a happy seafarer, so they stay longer, they stay in the industry longer and make more money for the manning agency. What do we want? We want a seafarer who's happy and who stays in the industry because he's happy and he does what he wants in helping himself and his family. So the two are together, and that's the approach I would take. But it's having that record, having that information, and doing it. The other way we do is if there is an individual case on a vessel where there's been a tragedy, an accident, an illness, a death, one of my colleagues will go and try and meet with the company afterwards and say, look, this is how we were involved, this is how we helped, and again, how are we adding value? And that's my advice, is to approach the manning agencies to show them how you are adding value to what they do and how you are helping them achieve what they want. I hope that answers the question.
I guess this is something we have to reflect on, because that data might be very much applicable to UK. How this data is transferred to us, now, allow me to say for us in the Philippines. I think for the benefit of everybody, we Stella Maris, at least here in NCR, specifically Manila, I share the feelings of you, Father Bomba. An agency that deploys about 3,000 seafarers a month. The president, who is a Filipino, he was very clear we paid a visit. He said, Father, we do not want to coordinate with Stella Maris. You just say the mass, because you guys are litigators. That is the word that I was really, oh my God. Then that's why I'm not saying, we have to see how do we find a way. In this area, for those who are not from Manila, there are 4 big, huge hospitals full of seafarers. Stella Maris Manila, that is just there, we are not allowed to enter the hospitals to visit the seafarers. Why? Because they perceived us, and I did write a letter. Where is Sister Melly? She was the one helping us. No? We brought the letter. At least 2 hospitals refused to receive the letter because it's Stella Maris, then it's apostleship of the sea. Why? Because they think we go there, get the case, and we don't go to visit. We go with the lawyer. That was not the case. The doors had been shut off. So I think this is a nice discussion. I do not know what is your feeling where you are, but right now in the Philippines there are 396 duly accredited manning agencies. Perhaps 80% of them is near where Stella Maris is. Just there. The building across our Stella Maris, it has, I think, 30 floors. Those are all manning agencies. Very few of them are willing to talk to us. And just look into what we do. I think this is a very interesting topic. Very interesting.
But 5 years ago, that was the attitude of the industry to Stella Maris in the UK. You're not there to help us, you're there to fight us. It's taken us 5 years. But the investment in that time and energy to educate the companies, the insurance companies, is paying off now to the point where these big companies and these insurance companies now come to us and say, look, we know you've got the expertise, can you help us? So as going back to your ambulance analogy, one of our chaplains says, I'm no longer the ambulance chaser, I'm the paramedic. And that's that. I'm not saying it's easy, I'm not saying it's quick, but I'm saying if you want to get past that, that's my advice of how you get past it.
But I think there is also another point that is important, because as an NGOs, as a welfare organization, as church, we must also fight for justice. And so when we have to stop just to say because we are concerned about our name, and so because we don't want to upset the industry, we don't want to be penalized by the industry, we have to let the injustice go on, or we have to remain faithful to the gospel, and so to the mission of saying, I don't care if we will be penalized, but we seek justice. Because I think we know in some part of the world there are charitable organizations similar, and John laughed because he knows what I'm talking about. There are charitable organization or seafarers welfare organization that they are on the side of the broker, they are on the side of the skipper and everything. Doug knows also. So what are we going to do? Should we align ourselves and not to upset the broker, the skipper and everything, and say, okay, let us close our eyes so we can be friendly, so we can go and visit the hospital, we can keep visiting ships and other things, or we have to tell the truth. This is a dilemma, but I know even Father Rico in South Africa has been facing this dilemma, and I don't know what is our mission on this. What we should remain faithful to our mission and to the gospel, or we have to.
On the same way, I think that's where it's that education piece is what the companies we work with, they understand what we stand for, and that gives us the power to speak truth to power. We've taken the time, they know us, they understand where we are, and it allows for very open discussions. But yeah, I agree that we need to make sure that engagement industry doesn't corrupt our position.
Sorry if we talk too much, but I think this is very dear to us, because how can we function as a chaplain if we cannot help the seafarer? Because that is the bottom line. I am a chaplain for the seafarer. I'm not a chaplain to the institution. I think the example that you led before with Father Bopak, we have a human being in front of us. In fairness to what we all are doing, on Saturday, guys, there will be a workshop on what we call regional meeting that we are all going to attend. But in the workshop, there will be a lady here who is the president, and she's the head of about 70 manning agencies. They begin recognizing the work of Stella. And when we have cases that we channel through that group of many agencies, basically the cases are solved. So I think we are making some progress. I'm just voicing out, I really agree, we can help, we help. I think we are not denying the help. But I think what is the best way for us to be able to serve the seafarer? And another point there is the charity that has been done. And then you guys have done, no? So I guess there are, there are signs there, but we have to strengthen it and to find it what is the best way. When the door is shut, that's why we have to be smart. then to reopen it is not that easy.
If it can be of some help, the answer is that. What we did yesterday, that is the answer. Stella Maris is not an activist-oriented organization. It was not born for that. So you are not a litigator. If something, someone perceives you as a litigator, there is something wrong that happened during the past, on both sides. And maybe something wrong is because both sides forgot that story of the win-win objective. And if someone mismatched that, someone else has to reopen the door, Paolo, as you said. But first you have to understand that this is the answer. You have a win-win. Someone, if you think you are clever, you have to show that you are clever and to show that you are not a litigator. You show evidently they don't perceive that what you have just said, that the person, the seafarer, is your concern. Probably somewhere they got lost and they perceive you as someone that has other interests behind the seafarers. That can be true, It can be true. But evidently you have to change the strategy and to pursue the benefit, the pure benefit of your beneficiaries. Answers are there. There is always something in the relationship that went wrong, but there is always the possibility to open that door. Paolo, it's not true that it's very difficult. Well, guys, I think
there is another issue that I would like to raise, because you see, John put up on the screen the fact that there are statistics that they are important when we talk with the industry for advocacy purpose, but also for funding purpose. How many of you are keeping a record of the visit, so that at the end of 1 month or 3 months or at the end of the year, you could say, Stella Maris, this place visited so many ships, was in contact with X number of seafarers and things like that. Because that's extremely important. Also because you should send a report as country once a year to the office. Very few they do it. Philippines, they didn't do it for I don't know how many years, but is in a good company with many other countries, because I just received between 10 to 15 reports from all over the world of the Stella Maris. But this is important that you get a report of the single center. So you say General Santos visit 500 ship, Manila visit 1,000 ship, any other port, and you put that Cebu visited 300 ship, Cebu accommodated 2,000 students and seafarers and everything. And after you combine this data and you say Stella Maris Philippines in 1 year visited 30,000 ship, assisted 5,000 seafarers and fishers and everything. And power is on number.
Yeah.
So how many of you are keeping record of the ship visit and other things? We have at least 4 people out of 22. So. But anyway, you don't have seafarers, but you do activities.
Yes.
So, but that is important that you keep record of the activities. At the end of the year, you send it to the national director, so he can combine a report for the bishop. Also, because we were talking about bishop conference and bishops that they don't know what Stella Maris does. and other things. But if you start sending number to your bishop and say, look, bishop, how many people we have been helping? We have been helping more people than any other ministry in the diocese. And that you get visibility and interest from the bishop. So that is an important thing that you should do it. I think there are, Stella Maris UK has a system to record the ship visiting and everything. Of course, it's not now the time to present this system, but maybe in the future that will be done. Sorry, Stephen. I think it was important to say this.
There's also on that same system, there's an item that says concerns. So if you've got a concern about something happening on that ship or whatever, it is good to record it. It is good to record it because someone else, not me, because I can only do my job. I can't sort the concern. But it can be highlighted that somebody back in the office can then look at all the concerns on what ships or companies they're dealing with. Agencies are a problem. Agencies are a problem, and I think we all know that. We've got bad agencies in the UK, but it is only by identifying that they are continuing being a problem that then can take it to government level and something done about it. And we have got an agency in Fraserburgh that is going through a major court case at the moment. And I hope that they get the book thrown at them and they're closed down and all the money that they have will be taken from them. And that's the only way. It's the same with fishing companies. By taking away their boats and their security, it's the only way they're going to do anything. You can't just change them from one to another, which happens in the Philippine agencies, and they close down, but they open up next day and a different guy, right? Something has to happen, and people at government level have got to realise it's the same guys that's running the agency that made a mess of it last year.
That was the concerns raised in the last year.
Yeah.
So you can see there, we record them all.
Yeah.
And that's what we're using for
It
lobbying.
is a valuable tool, a valuable tool.
Just to say as well, most of them, so nearly over a third of them are fishing vessels in the UK. So it's a big issue.
Just one thing I just want to add, please continue to strengthen the networking between you, the communication, because maybe it's very simple, but we need that, especially in the part of the concerns that you can see that in that dashboard. Every week we check the concerns around the world and we see there's a need of help in Cebu, and then the ship is maybe a concern is a ship from Cebu, but we need a chaplain in Indonesia.
Yeah.
So, or Indonesia need a chaplain in Cebu. But if you keep on changing also the numbers, then update us, because we connect with the others and we need your help and we need to find a chaplain, and you exist. So this is very important. The communication and between you and there's something that you are contributing a lot. Our seafarers that need your help from other countries. So please update us any changes that you do.
Remember that you sent us 3 questions, and at the end you asked us how can we strengthen Stella Maris and the connection in the Southeast Asia. Probably this afternoon, since each group will be presenting, will be reporting, you listen first to each other, and probably John could present again to us that system. So probably by then we could appreciate it. We will understand why What's the importance of that system? Because he asked us how can we strengthen Stella Maris in the Southeast Asia.
Age doesn't come itself, but I forget. My age restricts me from remembering lots and lots of things. So I sometimes forget which ship I had visited 6 months ago, because we're visiting ships every day. So one good thing about it is when we record on there, you can record even somebody that you'd spoke to, or someone had a problem, and then you go back onto that ship in 6 months' time. You can actually look back the system very simply and say, oh, I remember I was on there on Thursday the 1st of July. Oh yeah, I spoke to that guy. I'll go back and see that guy if he's back on the ship. So to me, it helps me. You know, maybe if you're a young guy, you'll remember everything, but I don't. And other people won't know. So this is a great tool.
So I just suggest that one because we already listened to John last night with the importance of that system. So probably you just listen to us first. How can we strengthen this organization or this Stella Maris, and then represent it to us? What's the advantages and the disadvantages if there is some?
There are no disadvantages.
Okay.
Okay, guys, 10 o'clock.
Thank you very much.
We finish here.
Is that breakfast time now?
You skip it, Doug.
Apologies.
But there is the bar, I think. And I think we continue, and I want to thank you very much for these 3 interesting days. All the best. And
yeah, we appreciate what you have given to us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for everybody. To Father Bruno,
Just one question only. Is Stella Maris network giving equal importance of our local seafarers with the international seafarers? Because I remember during, of course, the height of the pandemic, of course, our network is giving help to our seafarers, but we're instructed actually to just distribute them to our international seafarers and not the domestic one.
Yeah, it's true.
No, I think the instruction was to give it to seafarers and not to fishers. That's, I think, maybe there was some communication problem. We never made any distinction between local and international seafarers. Seafarers is seafarers, both local and international. We had issue with fishers because the charity that they are providing funds that we get thanks to the hard work of John in London, they say it has to be given specifically to the seafarers.
Yes.
For fishers, sometimes we were able to give money to fishers, but we have to find it from different kind of sources that they would allow. But there was no distinction between local and foreign seafarers.
Just to, it is I wouldn't say it's Stella Maris that has the problem. I think it's funders and outside. We're trying, we're getting there, we're making changes, but it's not easy. We try.